welcome to another episode of Brand Retro. We've done a handful of these now. We've done a couple that we talk about the sizzle words and kind of what goes into that. And just for a brief explanation, I'm a believer in coaching, and as part of my coaching process and the people that work with me to help me craft my own brand and to keep my business going forward, we have basically worked to create this list of sizzle words. And these are the words and the different kind of attributes of my business that seem to kind of come to the top. They rise to the top when working with clients and delivering that next level experience. So the idea is that, hey, I want to share these with you. So you know more about Cyberdogz and the brand retro mindset, but you also can maybe think about what this might look like for your own brand. And if there's anything I can do or share to kind of help you get there for your own brand, please reach out to me at mike@cyberdogzmarketing.com. But if there's something in here that just kind of gets you thinking, if it's a thought-provoking concept, I mean, that's good too. So today, I want to talk about the word calibrate. So calibration and calibrating is a word I use a lot. And you're going to hear it from me if you listen to my podcast, if you listen to me. Basically, if you listen to me at all, you're going to hear me say that word. So calibration, again, a word I use a lot. And for me, it's a process of taking a breath, hitting reset, and stopping just long enough to look around at your brand and your business and evaluate what's working or not working. And wherever possible, pull those pieces together, connect the dots, and fill the gaps where you may have missed an opportunity to learn or to get better. It's a good check-in process. It's a good time to just kind of stop and say, hey, am I still on the right track? So whether it's tweaking a NASCAR with a pit stop, or whether you're the 6-time NBA champion Chicago Bulls calling a timeout, or a small rest for Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson between rounds, it's taking that time to regroup, to assess, to reflect, and then to pick yourself back up and go forward. But very few companies take this approach. I think having worked in the corporate world and for some big companies, I think we set those budgets, we set our yearly plan, and we execute based off of that for a full 12 months before we then sit down to do it for the next year. The problem is things change too fast. They change way too fast. So I personally feel like it's one of these things. It's neglected. And I think if you're leading a team, if you're leading a division within a company, if you're the marketing director at a company, or if you even own your own, part of your job should be taking that rest, to take that reset, to take that time to reflect of, hey, here's how we started out. We're now 30, 60, 90 days down that road. We need to stop and take a look at this and make sure we're still on that path. Because like I said, things change fast. And when the industry changes, you've got to reel in some of these projects and reel in some of these, whether it be relationships, resources, whatever, and recalibrate them to the new direction that might have changed in the last 30, 60, 90 days. It's a process of constantly calibrating and reflecting then on those efforts. And I will say that, the companies that are doing a version of this by studying, analytics websites, studying their email data, their social media accounts, et cetera, that's all good stuff. But when you calibrate, you assess, or you include the intent you entered into that current situation with. So the logic or vision as to why you went that route, the skill set for better or worse, of the team members, the method of execution, and so on, along with those analytics to again hit reset, to hit start over and decide how to proceed, is very important. And all of that fits within your business and your brand direction. So paying attention to all that stuff's good. Calibrating to the analytics, paying attention to the data, that's all good stuff. But use it to your advantage to hit that reset button and to calibrate your direction. And just, if nothing else, to confirm you're still on the right track. I feel like a lot of times this is a missing piece of marketing and branding, like I said, because we go down that road, we set our course and we take off. And once the projects start and the resources, hit the ground running and everybody's doing their thing, it seems like it would almost be so difficult to stop and look around and to think it over, but somebody has to do it. So if you're leading that team, or if it's your company, it's important to just even a check-in would be beneficial. So we talk about the moving landscape of industry, right? The seasonality, the customer personas that evolve. And what we're really saying is that it's an ever-changing / moving target, correct? So if that's true, which I completely agree with, how do you get by with only setting your marketing course once per year or not looking at it again until you need to start thinking about it for next year's budget? So I think we can all agree, any business person will tell you, yeah, things change fast. They change all the time. The landscape is moving. So based off of that, if we all agree with that, if we all can say, yes, that's a true aspect of business and it's a true aspect of any industry you're in, then, hey, we better hope we got it right the first time and the landscape stops moving if we're not going to stop and calibrate, if we're not going to stop and check in with ourselves. So whether I'm new to working with the company or it's an ongoing retainer that I'm currently work with, it is my belief that the brand and the marketing calibration is key to introducing and tracking a balanced, digestible diet for your brand. I think it's so critical, and it's something, like I said, I believe it does get neglected from time to time, but it should be paramount. It should be something you have on your calendar to do on a regular basis. So if you have questions or you don't know what that looks like, I love the topic, to be honest with you. It's something I'm a big believer in, if you can't tell by the passion. If you want to hear more about this, feel free to email me at mike@cyberdogsmarketing.com. And again, if you know a person or a company that's hungry for change, refuses to put things on cruise control, which sometimes you'll hear me refer to as a set it and forget it mindset, but rather approaches, their marketing, their efforts, the strategy, the relationship, et cetera, as an ongoing process of development. I would love to connect with those people and help them develop that plan on an ongoing basis. So please share this podcast, let them know it exists. Find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and let's get to calibrating. Let's figure out how to make these brands not only stay sharp, but to help them evolve on an ongoing basis and to almost get ahead of that moving landscape.